The Africana Studies program is happy to collaborate with this project as well as be one of the co-sponsors for it in Ghana, where I also work as the academic advisor for the site in the NYU in Ghana, which is going to play a big role. And in that context, I'm going to actually introduce you to a dear friend and the site director for NYU in Ghana.
I bring greetings from the students, staff, and faculty members of NYU Accra. NYU Accra and the Institute go back to a long time. When the center was established in 2004 in Accra, I want to put on record that the first set of equipment that we had for our film class was donated by this institute. And some of them are still being used by our students, so we appreciate that. I also want to say that in the context of this conference, NYU Accra teaches a course that we call African Women Speak, taught by a distinguished professor, A.C. Sutherland, whom I know some of you know. And that course exposes students to the diversity of the expressive forms of African women, be they in writing, oral literature, performance such as dance and music.
It is an honor and a privilege, and I said to Jane earlier, I said this many times in my career at NYU, I've been here for 17 years, the most moving, intellectually challenging, rigorous, and interesting conference was Slaves, Roads Along Memory and the Yari Pomberi conference. I only saw one of them. But truly, I think what you're doing is tremendously important for the university. The university is fully behind this, and with Dr. Anita Ho, you have a really great partner in Accra. We are thrilled that you're planning this now for 2013 and in Africa, where NYU wants to have a very strong presence. There have been lots of events the Institute has done. Some people in this room have been there many times to do academic, artistic, intellectual, and other kind of initiatives. So I just want to actually thank Awam, Akosua, friends of mine, Mantia, and the people in this room, and the other people who I'm truly, truly moved to meet here, people whose writing I've taught many times. And it's really an honor to be in this position to be able to facilitate this. Thank you.
Yari, Yari. Those of you who attended the conferences know that this is the way that Jane would often welcome us at the beginning of events. So I want to welcome you on behalf of the Organization of Women of Writers of Africa, of our board members, and our family, who is all around the room. And I want to bring up for a couple of minutes someone who the larger world got to know through a movie, but many of us have known for years as a brilliant poet and teacher, as well as a fiction writer, someone who participated in Yari Yari, and someone who's been a longtime friend and board member of the Organization of Women Writers of Africa, Sapphire.
Yay! I'm really happy to be here, and my association with Yari Yari and OA is almost totally because it's a wonderful organization, but because of Jane Cortez. And in the very beginning, she reached way out to the hardworking hood and dragged people like me in, and I stayed. And so it's just been really, really an honor watching this organization grow. The conferences have been amazing. I was thinking as I was coming over here about the last time I saw, and her name is Octavia Butler. Octavia Butler was at Yari Yari, and then seeing her on the screen here, and just thinking when I was seeing her, you know, because I didn't know her personally, you know, I kind of, hi, my name is so-and-so, and you get out of here. But just thinking, God, you know, I'm in the presence of one of the finest minds of our time. This woman is a fucking genius, you know. And I was just torn away that she is gone, but there's a part of her, of course, her work, but her inclusion in this conference has brought her to a wider world. And you know, I'm looking around and I'm seeing writers that I know, and writers who are coming up, and writers who are established, and I'm just really awed. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jane.
We are happy to be celebrating OWA's 20th anniversary in this time of the global protest against inequality and the Occupy Wall Street movement in New York. It is just great to be in the offices of the Institute of African American Affairs with Awa, Makosawa, Provost Bear, and Jaira. And I must say, Jaira Placide, we cannot thank you enough for helping to make this event happen. And thank you. And also, I'd like to say, thank you to Saliu Soso, who with his beautiful chorus music from the Gambia. In 1989, Ghanaian writer Amate Adu and I met in Harare, Zimbabwe, and talked about the need to have an organization of black women writers to address issues concerning publishing, distribution, translation, cultural policies, domination, inequality, censorship, freedom of the imagination, and human progress. We also wanted to build a strong organization that we could leave to our community of literary daughters. In 1991, Alma Ata and I drafted a letter announcing the launch of the Organization of Women Writers of Africa. We sent the letter to a number of writers of African descent, and those who answered, like Louise Merriweather, J.E. Franklin, Rashida Ismaili, Cheryl Green, and Renee Laria, became the executive committee. Then we added a general board with Alexis DeVoe, Paula Gettings, Tess Owoemi, and Margaret Busby, and an advisory board with Dr. Maya Angelou, Sapphire, Maurice Condé, Rosa Guy, Gloria Naylor, and Paul Marshall. Now we have a new board members, Donette Francis, Zeta Elliott, Latasha Nevada Diggs, and Gabriel Seville. And we have, as OWA's first director of programming and conferences, and you just met her, Professor Rosamond S. King. During the early years, OWA created and organized critical panels, readings, book celebrations, literary literacy projects, connecting young students to literature and professional writers. We began a presentation of awards and conversations with creative women such as novelist Sarah E. Wright, archivist and former chief of the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture, Jean Blackwell Hudson, union organizer and political activist Charlene Mitchell, editor of Freedom Waves magazine Esther Cooper Jackson, and singer, musician, composer Sadamabi Benjamin. When Ama Ata Adu and I met in 1991, we also talked about organizing a writers' conference. I met with a number of colleagues and organizations. Then in 1995, with the executive committee, we met with Dr. Mancha Diawara, director of New York University's Institute of African American Affairs and Africana Studies, and later his assistants, Glenda Noel Ney, who is here tonight. At that first meeting, Dr. Diawara agreed to co-sponsor the first Yari Yari conference, which was titled Yari Yari Black Women Writers and the Future, 1997. We continued the collaboration with Yari Yari Panbury, Black Women Writers Dissecting Globalization, 2004. OWA also helped in the organization of the first symposiums in the United States as part of UNESCO's Root of the Slave Project. Slave Roots, The Long Memory, 1999, and Slave Roots, Resistance, Abolition, and Creative Progress, 2008. These events were held in New York City and co-sponsored by NYU's Institute of African American Affairs and the Africana Studies program, with support provided by Howard Dawson and the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture, UNESCO's Division of Culture, Susan Taylor and Essence Magazine, the New York State Council on the Arts, the Ford Foundation, and other foundations. The Yari Yari conferences and Root of the Slave symposiums were large-scale international events which brought together hundreds of distinguished writers, scholars, visual artists, musicians, and organizers from over 25 countries. Several thousand people attended the events, and the population at large was reached through contemporary media, including Gil Noble's Like It Is, ABC News, the Black Scholar Magazine, Black Renaissance, Renaissance Choir, the New York Times, Amsterdam News, and the Village Voice. All of the OWA programs have been documented and are available in the OWA archives at the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture, and the Yari Yari films are available from Third World Newsreel. Yari Yari means the future of the future in the Karanko language of Sierra Leone. And Pamberi means forward, or Pamberi Pamberi, keep on keeping on, in the Shona language of Zimbabwe. And that is what OWA intends to do by promoting the works of emerging writers and continuing the dialogue with Yari Yari in Tawasa in Accra, Ghana in 2013. We thank every one of you for your support in helping us to move forward, and we thank the many volunteers and the advisory board members like the poet Sapphire, who participated in the OWA readings and conferences since Ina Day, celebrating literary mothers at the Studio Museum in 1995. We are very proud of Sapphire and congratulate her on the film Precious and the publication of her new novel, The Kid. Life is full of choices and decisions and struggles for human rights. OWA is interested in change and human development. We are a nonprofit organization and the only literary organization associated with the United Nations. We believe in the African proverb, today should come and see yesterday. Tonight we are celebrating OWA's 20th anniversary and honoring our advisory board member, Dr. Maya Angelou. Amaate Aedu met Maya Angelou in Ghana in the early 60s, and I met our dear sister Maya in Los Angeles in 1965 at the studio of a mutual friend, an African-American designer, Bob Rogers. Maya had returned to America from Ghana to work with Dr. Martin Luther King and SCLC in the Civil Rights Movement. At the same time, in 1964, I had returned from Mississippi, where I worked with the SNCC voter registration project in the Civil Rights Movement. I had returned to Los Angeles to assist in the organization of the Studio Watts Art Center, and while working there as artistic director and also working with the NAP anti-poverty program, I was appointed cultural minister for Watts, Willowbrook, and Compton after the Watts rebellions. Dr. Maya Angelou was the featured speaker in our first Watts program in 1965. It is because of Maya's determination and commitment to the struggles of African people, her artistic imagination, literary contributions, and support that OWA has been able to make significant progress. I know that you know that Dr. Angelou is a great humanitarian, a fantastic storyteller, writer of poetry and fiction, actor, director, and filmmaker. And here to present the OWA's gift of appreciation to Dr. Angelou is sculptor Melvin Edwards.
Maya has my respect and has had it for a long time because she was at the center of the struggle of our people and has definitely assisted in our progress. We just wouldn't be where we are without people like her. And that is primarily for me in the field of literature. And my mother told me she likes Maya's work very much so. When I tell her that I'll have had something nice to do with Maya, she'll be happy about that. But Maya, I really have appreciated your work for many years. My work deals, this piece comes out of a series called The Lynch Fragments, which has been going on for more than 40 years, since 1963, when I made the first one. And these kinds of works of mine are in many museums in the United States. But all that aside, they're about struggle, and they have that title with many different individual titles. The individual title on this one is very simple because it's the situation. And this is OWA, or Organization of Women Writers of Africa, Maya. The work is in welded steel, and it will remind you of struggle. This is not good time stuff, this is the real deal.
I honor you, I respect you, and grateful to God for you. I open my mouth to the Lord, and I won't turn back, no. I will go, I shall go. I'll see what the end is gonna be. She does not know her beauty. She knows her brown body has no glory. If she could dance naked under palm trees and see her image in the river, she would know. But there are no palm trees on the street, and dishwater gives back no images. But still, she said, I open my mouth to the Lord, and I won't turn back, no. Miss Gloria, when I see you, you black, brown, beige, red, yellow, pink, white sack of a woman. When I see you, Miss Rosie, sitting, waiting for your mind like last week's grocery. I say, when I see you with your old man shoes with the big toes cut out. I say, when I see you, Miss Rosie, you used to be called the prettiest gal in Georgia. Used to be called Georgia Rose. Because of you, Miss Rosie, I stand up. I stand straight up. I stand up. And I call myself a woman, a black woman. I call myself a woman of the ages. Miss Rosie, when I see you, I stand up. And I know when it looked like the sun wasn't going to shine anymore, you have become my rainbow in the clouds and taught me how to become a rainbow in somebody else's cloud. You may not even look like me. Thank you. So we keep on keeping on, don't we? It's amazing. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful to be a party to this party. I am grateful, and I'm grateful that you don't forget me. That you don't forget me. I call on you all the time, and I make myself available to you. And you know this is so, that you can call on me all the time. And I'm there. I always come when you call. Isn't it true? The most important thing, I think, is to be present. To be present. All the time, present. Bring your whole self all the time. Don't shuck and jive. Bring your whole self, yes. It seems to me that's wise. I like a statement that is, it says, I am a human being. Nothing human can be alien to me. In Latin it said, homo sum, humani nihil me alienum putro. I am a human being. Nothing human can be alien to me. When you look at that statement in your encyclopedia tonight or tomorrow morning, or in English, or if you look under Terence with one R, you will find beside his name, Terence with one R, you find in italics, Terentius Afer. He was an African. He was a slave. He was sold to a Roman senator. The senator freed him. He became the most popular playwright in Rome. 5 of his plays in that statement have come down to us. I am a human being. Nothing human can be alien to me. My Lord. So it liberates. This statement is liberating. it not only liberates me from other people's ignorance, it liberates me from my own. So I don't have to feel animosity to whites. I don't have to. That's their business.
All right.
I'm not in that.
That's right.
I didn't do that. And if I did, I take responsibility for the time I take up in the space I occupy. That's being a woman. That's being a man. Born with certain genitalia, if you don't get run over by an out-of-control truck, you can become an old whatever that is between your legs. That's an old male or an old female. To become a woman is no small matter. A man is no small matter. A man may be 4 foot tall, he may be white, he may be black, he may be anything. But a man, you know when you're in the company of a man. You know when you're in the company of a woman. She can be pretty, plain, fat, thin, it doesn't matter. But a woman is going to respect you. And if you are disrespected, a woman is going to say, excuse me, I'm not here, you don't. A man is going to say, excuse me, no, not here, you don't. So I am proud and grateful to God to be an African American woman and to be a party to this party, to be a party and a partner to these women and these African American women who know that they are somebody. And then those who are smart enough to find some African American men. Respect them. I never understood why men wanted women who didn't know anything. I thought, wait a minute, run that by me one more time. You want somebody who can't read and don't write and doesn't know where the bank is and can't write and can't drive a car, and you just want somebody to feel superior to? Suppose you have a heart attack. I think that the wise thing is to take responsibility for the time you take up in the space you occupy. So women, if you're with men who don't respect you, too bad. Too sad you're bad, because you can't count on it. And men, if you're with women who don't know who they are, too bad, too sad, you're dead. And they can't help you in times of need. So when I come to these gatherings where black women are here with black men, and I hope other people are here, because we learn from each other. And you have to learn that, you have to know that. I love being an African American woman. Now, if I was a white American woman, I would learn what that is. I'd learn that. Because there are some white American women who have been heroes and sheroes. Yes. And I'd like to know them. And some whose history I respect and am grateful for. I know that some of them don't know their history and don't know they've already been paid for. And so, alas and alack, they don't act according to their inheritance. But there are women, Asian, Spanish-speaking, Native American, white women, and African American, African women, who have paid for us already. And it behooves us to respect them and not to carry along useless baggage. Oh, I don't like them cause what? Their grandfather, I beg your pardon? It's the what? No. Be smarter than that. No. You've already been paid for. So be smart. I know some people. One very famous singer who played crazy. And I said, please don't do that. Don't play crazy. I mean, if you're going to play something, play sane. Get up in the morning and say, Lord, thank you, help me to play sane all day. Because I tell you, you play crazy, There's somebody who's liable to show you really where that is. Oh, baby. And say, you playing crazy, let me show you something. So the best thing to do is play sane and hope that some of that will rub off on you. And somebody will play sane back to you. Before you know it, you're saner than you thought you were. I encourage women and men all the time, you know that. You know I always come to hope to say something of matter. Since life is our most precious gift, and since as far as we can be absolutely certain, it's given to us to live but once. Let us so live we will not regret years of useless virtue and inertia and timidity. And all we can say at the end, I pray that my most wonderful energies have been dedicated to the most noble cause in the world, the liberation, the freedom, the prayer, and the hope of the African American woman. I thank you for this magnificent piece of sculpture. I thank you. I have a wonderful sculpture garden in North Carolina, and I would have this mounted, and it would be in a prominent place because I respect your work so highly. I thank you so kindly. And I have some Ed Wright and Metamoric Fuller. I have, and now I have one too. And I'm so grateful and so respectful. People wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute. I'm built to suit a fashion model size. When I try to show them, they think I'm telling lies. I say it's in the reach of my arms. It's in the span of my hips. It's in the stride of my step. It's in the curl of my lips. I'm a woman. Phenomenal. I walk into a room just as cool as you please, and to a man the fellows stand. I'll fall down on my knees. Arm around me as high as a honeybee. I say it's a fire in my eye. It's a flash in my teeth. It's a swing in my waist. It's a joy in my feet. Now you understand just why my head's not bowed. I don't shout or jump about. I have to talk too loud. When you see me walking, it ought to make you proud. I say it's in the click of my heels, the bend of my hair, the palms of my hands, the need for my care because I'm a woman. Phenomenal woman, all the women who are part of this magnificent organization, and many who will become our daughters, our nieces, our sisters, are phenomenal. And me.
Thank you so much.
Okay, very nice. Here we go. Good. Excellent.
Thank you. Give me a hand. My accent.
Nice.
So indifferent.
There we go. Just like that. Good, good, and
Thank you.